Now, I've been waiting for some wireless earbuds that have exactly what these have. It's as if almost Tozo read my mind, and I didn't even know these were coming until they reached out to me. They are their Golden X1. Now, the Golden X1 has a nose-balanced armature and a 12mm dynamic driver in each of the earbuds, and LDAC support for superior audio quality because it's just so much better than the inferior SBC and AAC codecs, transmitting at 3 times the data rate of those older codecs. It has a runtime of up to 8 hours. That's on a single charge, but if you use the SBC codec, 32 hours in total. They do have capacitive touch controls on them and active noise cancellation of up to 42 decibels noise reduction. So the Golden X1 comes with a user manual, quick start guide. We have various different silicon tips here. Now, for me, the mediums fit just fine, but find one of these that does fit your ears the best, because as long as you get that good seal, then you're going to get the proper sound and also the best active noise cancelling from them. A Type A to Type C cable for charging them. Now, the charge time is around about 1 hour for the case and the earbuds. The case is nice and light. It's only about 54 grams, and each one of the earbuds are 5 grams each, so they are lightweight. Now, I really love this. You can see the remaining battery percent of the case straight away, and then each of the earbuds. It's very clear. You can see it flickering a little bit on camera, but you don't actually see that flicker in person. I've got a button here to reset them. They sit inside with magnets that hold them into place, and if I give the case a bit of a shake, there's no rattling noise. The case does support Qi wireless standard wireless charging, and you'll see on the back that's where we have our Type-C port. Now, it's got a magnet that holds it in place. That's why it doesn't rattle either the lid. I just wish that when it was opened right up, there was a spring mechanism that would keep it open. It seems to just flop around a little bit. That's a very minor little nitpick there from me. So inside, you'll just see there that it states Knowles. That's, of course, the brand of the balanced armatures we have within. They're quite famous. LDAC, the codec, and high-res audio wireless certified to this particular model. So a nice case. The plastics don't seem to scratch too easily, but they do tend to pick up fingerprints a little, and it will fit in that top little jeans pocket that you have on the right-hand side. It's a bit of a squeeze, but it just fits in there. Plastics used with our earbuds do feel good. There's no sharp edges. So we've got a mic here, there's a mic there, and the one here dedicated to our voice calls. I'll give you a sample later on of the microphones. So we have the 3 mics and the 2 mics. I think they use 2 because that one's dedicated for the voice, but the 2 mics for the noise cancellation. So active noise cancelling up to 42 decibels reduction. We have a transparency mode, wind filter mode too as well. Pogo port pin connectors. And there are no sharp edges with these plastics at all. So where the Tozo logo is here on the rear, that's our capacitive touch area. I find the touch seems to work all right. It's not 100% of the time, every time I tap it, it works. But out of 10 times, it will work a good 9 or 8 times out of 10, which is pretty standard for capacitive touch controls. So the battery life with these will vary on what codec you are using. I've been using LDAC because this is the high quality codec, and if you're listening to high quality audio files like some FLAC files that I have, you will notice the difference when you turn that on, especially the highs. They just sound so much better. There's none of that horrible compression you get with Bluetooth using SBC. The data rate is over 3 times, or about 3 times that of SBC. But it, of course, has a toll on the battery. It consumes more energy. Now, if I've got LDAC off, I can get up to 8 hours on a single charge. Well, that's their claim. I get about 7. If I turn the LDAC on, the swap over, as you can see, is pretty quick. It just reconnects. Then I'm only looking at around 4, 4.5, possibly a little more when it comes to runtime. It's greatly reduced. Now, using the SBC codec, you get the 8 hours and then the 32 more additional from the case. Well, 32 in total, I should say. And app support, yes, they do have an app right here. So it's just called the Tozo, the app, Tozo Sound. And once you get that paired up, you don't have to register or log in or anything. You'll see them listed there with the battery life. You can adjust here the noise cancellation. You've got your sound effects and other modes here. So it's quite straightforward and I do like it. You can see there are all the different equalizer options there. I've just kept it on standard, so the way I'm reviewing all of this tech that I get with audio, most of the stuff is how it is out of the box without me really changing anything. So I just keep it on their standard equalizer there. So it's a very handy app and very easy to swap over, of course, to use LDAC. So the sound of these is something that I've been waiting a long time for. There's been a lot of earbuds out there that have had, yes, balanced armatures, even from Knowles. Normally they are typically Knowles, actually, balanced armatures. And then the driver, right? Decent sized driver. This one is 12 millimeters. And that's been it. We've been stuck on the AAC codec or SBC, limiting really what we can hear because there's been that compression. Soon as you use the LDAC with these, wow, does it open up the sound quality. You do hear the difference, trust me. As long as your source material, your source files you're listening to are also of a very high bit rate, and you're not going to have any compression whatsoever. I'd say it's comparable to just having an analog setup with a 3.5mm headphone jack. It really is. So the highs with this particular model here, super detailed, crisp, excellent. Vocals as well, great. The mids, bass, I do like the fact that Tozo did not go overboard with the bass here. This is with the standard tune, by the way, that I'm listening to. They haven't made it overpowering, overwhelming. It hasn't and doesn't affect the mids. There's no clipping either. It doesn't sound muddy. These are some of the clearest, and I'll go as far to say I think probably the best sounding that I have listened to yet when using LDAC. I know the trade-off is the battery life gets severely impacted, but for me, it is definitely worth it. Unless I need the battery life, then I'll swap over. But these are fantastic sounding, and I'd rate these as the best I have listened to in a very, very, very long time when it comes to wireless earbuds. Then the latency. This is one area that often Bluetooth lags behind, but I have noticed here with my Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, no issues. This is an episode of Vikings that I did download with Netflix, and I can't see any delay when the actors talk. It seems to be in sync just fine. The only area that you will notice it is if you decide to game, you will notice a little bit of lag there and that the sound will fall behind by a split second, but not with streaming content like this. I don't see it. My example now of the Tozo Golden X1. So I'm recording directly into the timeline of my video editor. Let me know in the comments what you think of these microphones and the mic quality. I think it's good. I've handled a couple of calls with them. I haven't had any problems and no complaints from the other end either. So other features of them that I didn't mention is IPX6 with these. You don't need to worry about them getting splashed or sweat on them. The connection with Bluetooth 5.3 is very quick. So as soon as you put them in, they are basically connected up. Now the touch controls, as I mentioned, I can sometimes find them a little bit hit and miss, but the comfort of wearing these is very good. They're comfortable, and that active noise cancellation. I tested it out in a flight that I went on to Munich, and they worked out to be very well, both in the flight, and I also tested them in a train station and train environment, and they block out a lot of that ambient noise, and you can just focus on your music. There's also the passive mode, so you can hear the train announcements, you can hear co-workers. That is also working just fine. So all up, I think that Tozo's done it. These have fantastic sound. Those highs, thanks to the Knowles balanced armature, very crisp and detailed. Mid sound great, good lows from the dynamic driver, the noise cancellation, the comfortable fit. The only real con of these for me is the battery life if you use LDAC, that it's going to be about 4-5 hours at best if you're using a lower volume with these due to that higher quality, of course, bit rate that it's using for LDAC. That is really it. These are a fantastic set of earbuds, and they are my new favorite here, the Golden X1. So thank you so much for watching this review.